Chapter 29. Yang Chen greeted his passionate new colleagues while slowly walking towards his seat. The moment he sat down, he was once again surrounded by several ladies with outstanding looks, each of them with radiant eyes staring at him. Hey handsome, let me introduce myself, my name is Zhao Hongyan. This is a lady with big wavy curves in a beige suit and red phoenix eyes, eyes with corners that incline upwards, that are exceptionally charming. At this moment she warmly stretched out her white hand, and introduced herself. Big sis Hongyan, our new colleague just arrived and you're already stretching your hand, aren't you afraid of scaring him? Another lady wearing a baby blue outfit made a gurgur, laughing sound. Her face is a little round, and she has quite a plump body. She laughs and says, your name is Yang Chen, right? From here on in our PR department, you have to be most careful of big sis Hongyan here. When she eats up men she doesn't even leave the bones. Zhao Hongyan doesn't blush, makes a HMPH sound, and stretches her hand to pinch the plump lady's outstanding bottom. Save it Zhang Kai, who doesn't know that your demands are the highest. You're unable to even sleep without a man at night. HMPH, that's not the case. Big sis Hongyan, look, our big sis Mingyu hasn't gotten married yet. No matter what, we can't snatch him from her. Following Zhang Kai's gaze, Yang Chen looked towards a quiet lady. This is a tall lady in a pink outfit, with shoulder-length hair that is dyed with several streaks of purple and beautiful facial features that reveal a distinctive office lady style. Lu Mingyu sweetly smiles and says, what are you guys staring at? I'm just welcoming our new colleague, and am not as vile as you guys make me out to be. With that said, Lu Mingyu extends her arm and says, little brother Yang Chen, you wouldn't mind a handshake, right? Oh, of course. Yang Chen naturally wouldn't mind having close contact with a beauty like that. It would be even better if he could pinch her butt like Zhao Hongyan did to Zhang Kai though. The moment he came into contact with Lu Mingyu's slender hand, Yang Chen felt Lu Mingyu's playful pinky gently rubbing on his palm. As he raised his head, Lu Mingyu as expected gave him a saucy wink. Just this simple and dubious action made Yang Chen feel like he is on cloud nine. No wonder so many men struggled so hard to enter Yulei International. The average quality of the ladies here is so high, and even more importantly they are extremely friendly. Following the welcome from the three ladies, numerous ladies from the office also welcomed Yang Chen, of course without missing out and adding in some dirty jokes. Only after 10 minutes did Yang Chen spot another man in the office. This is a considerably short male with fair skin wearing a white shirt. He looks like a college student that has yet to complete puberty, and has a delicate face with a shy expression. Noticing his only male comrade not coming over to greet him and instead having a consistently shy look, Yang Chen finds that funny. How is it possible that a man is less outgoing than this bunch of ladies? So, Yang Chen took the initiative to extend his hand and said, I'm Yang Chen, seems like you are the only other guy in this office, let's get along well in the future. The pretty boy immediately shook Yang Chen. Chen Bo. Morning erection. What a name to choose, but that aspect of his don't seem to be able to get erect at all. TL, the name Chen Bo sounds the same as morning erection in Chinese, morning erection PFFT, ed, ha ha ha, I'm dying too. Yang Chen couldn't help but laugh and say, this name of yours, it's pretty meaningful, very manly. Once Chen Bo heard that, he shyly lowered his head even more and softly said, thank you. That's right, he's shy. A man named Morning Erection is as delicate and shy as a girl. The surrounding ladies came over, and the plump lady named Zhang Kai, Gurgur, laughed and said, Yang Chen, you may not know this, little Bo here is a scholar from North University. Before you came, he was the only male in our department. Things are better now, with big bro Yang here, the balance of yin and yang in our office has returned a little. A younger female PR member has already started calling Yang Chen, big bro. Yang Chen joked along with the other ladies for a while and did not hold up much time in the office. He returned to his desk and started tidying up the various documents and office tools. The closest desk to Yang Chen's belonged to the first who shook hands with him, Zhao Hongyan. Zhao Hongyan happily asked, handsome, do you need any help? If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. Yang Chen thought for a minute, and asked, even little Bo who is this shy can join PR. Doesn't a PR have to interact and make business deals while receiving customers? Is he really that outspoken? Zhao Hongyan stared blankly for a moment as she did not expect Yang Chen to ask that. She covered her mouth and softly said, "Little Bo is said to have entered through the back door. Everybody sees his shy demeanor and gives him some clerk type of work. We usually don't let him go for things like business deals." Yang Chen nodded. Everything makes sense now. Suddenly thinking of something, Yang Chen, hey, laughs and says, "Actually I'm not good at speaking, and don't really know how to talk business. I think in the future you guys could also give me miscellaneous work to do, making coffee, brewing tea, sending water and such as more suitable for me, and I could do more physical work. What do you say?" Surprised, Zhao Hongyan couldn't resist making an erratic tremble and a gurgur chuckle. Even the two plump mountain ranges on her chest shuddered. "Handsome Yang truly knows how to make jokes. I heard that you are a scholar who graduated from Harvard. In our entire company there are very few who have that level of education. You say you want to do odd jobs like brewing tea and sending water. Who's going to believe that? I'm serious, believe me." Yang Chen wrinkles his brows in distress. Why is it that nobody believes him when he speaks the truth? Seeing how Yang Chen doesn't seem to be lying, Zhao Hongyan could only raise her hands in surrender and say, all right, I'll believe you. Actually, you're still on trial. There isn't much work for you to do in the first place. I will let our sisters know. In the future you will be responsible for buying us breakfast, brewing coffee, moving things and so on. In the past we took turns to do these, but from here on out you will do these alone. What do you think? Seriously? Yang Chen happily exclaimed. Buying breakfast, brewing coffee and moving things around, these actions suited him perfectly. Seeing Yang Chen's excited expression, Zhao Hongyan doesn't know how to salvage what originally began as a joke. She whispered to herself, "What a weird person," then nodded. "Good, this is set. Remember to let everybody else know. Tomorrow I will buy breakfast for everybody. Things like money can be paid after." Yang Chen turned back in satisfaction, and continued to tidy up his desk, ignoring Zhao Hongyan's lifeless face. 5 minutes later, when Zhao Hongyan once again turned to check what Yang Chen is doing, she is completely shocked. She noticed Yang Chen had already dumped all of the documents on the desk into the cabinet under the table. The only thing left on the desk is the computer. While on the computer display, an image familiar to the point it cannot be more familiar is shown. Pokémon. Yes, Yang Chen is playing Pokémon, but specifically this flash winking face. This guy. Is he really planning on becoming a gopher? On the first day of work, he has already started to play video games. Zhao Hongyan felt a headache appearing. Right at this moment, an old-fashioned and plain-looking lady, wearing a close-fitting black dress and white stockings suddenly walked into the PR department. She calmly asked, "Is today's new recruit Yang Chen here?" Upon seeing this lady, quite a few employees let out a surprised expression and then looked strangely at Yang Chen. Regretting that he could not finish his game, Yang Chen raised his head. "I'm here. What is the purpose of elder sister's visit?" Elder sister. The employees around almost couldn't hold back their laughter. As expected, after being addressed like this, the lady in black's brows contracted, and her tone turned a little hostile as she said, "I am the CEO's secretary and assistant Wu Yu. The CEO wants to see you. You are to come with me immediately." CEO. This is my first day. Why does the CEO want to see me? Puzzled, Yang Chen stood up. However, without asking any questions, he followed behind the plain lady, and exited the office. The moment Yang Chen exited, the whole office erupted in gossips. Everybody felt that this was unbelievable. In the department head's office, when Mo Qiani saw what happened outside, even she looked at Yang Chen a little confused. Chapter 30. Following the airport runway, flat-chested, figure of Wu Yu onto the elevator to the top floor, of which only consisted of the CEO's office and leisure room. The fashionable top-grade transparent-esque materials and a variety of bonsai trees, brought about a bright and spacious feel. With subtle and detailed management in all places, it completely manifested respect towards the identity of the CEO of this big establishment. "Secretary Wu, what is the CEO calling me for?" Yang Chen curiously asked while following her. Not answering his question, Wu Yu continued to silently walk down the path with her heels rhythmically clinking against the ground. Yang Chen couldn't help but think that this woman was cold and did not bother to ask further. However, Yang Chen had some regrets. He should have researched information about Yulei International's CEO and not just read information about the recruitment process. If he had prior knowledge, he wouldn't be in such a situation. To suddenly meet the leader of this company, he did not know what to do. We've arrived. Walking towards the gorgeously carved milk-white door, Wu Yu's coldly stared at Yang Chen and said, "The CEO is inside, you can enter yourself. You better watch your tone and be respectful." Towards Wu Yu's mysteriously strict tone, Yang Chen wasn't angry, but instead felt pity towards this woman. If her character was not cold, why would she look at men as if looking at something extremely displeasing? I'm already this manly, didn't you notice how much the other female employees like me? Ignoring the pitiful secretary, Yang Chen opened the door as if it was his second nature, entering the office of Yulei Building's highest authority. The moment he entered, Yang Chen noticed a familiar smell. The air is filled with a faint smell of jasmine, warm yet refreshing. This reminded Yang Chen of his wife Lin Ruoxi. Didn't that frost-faced girl also have this smell? The entire CEO office was unusually big, way over 100 square meters, and formed a semicircle. The circular side was all clean floor-to-ceiling windows from end to end, which allowed the hustle and bustle of the city to be seen from any spot. The thin white translucent curtains blew along with the wind from the AC. On the floor was a soft Mediterranean wool carpet with diverse and archaic designs. Several bonsai trees were placed on the table and corners of the room, while the entire office's lights helped to complement it. The crystal chandelier on the ceiling was also a rare collector's item. Its exquisite workmanship refracted all the light rays into the office with a dazzling luster, and brought threads of magnificence and mysticism into the whole room. Several silver-coated metal bookshelves filled with design books covered the room. To the shelves, a huge mahogany desk could be seen. Except, at this moment, behind that desk, the seat of the CEO was empty. Puzzled, Yang Chen wondered why the CEO would call him over when he or she wasn't even here. As soon as he thought that, at the right side of the office, a door leading to a restroom opened. A person elegantly walked out from that door. At that moment, the atmosphere of the room turned incomparably strange, as if the oxygen in the room had been removed. The two people stood in front of each other, seemingly forgetting to breathe. As their gazes met, they each had mixed and complex emotions in their eyes. The two people found it difficult to sp. This, you, me, I. Yang Chen always felt that he was mentally strong, but he now realized that it was only limited to some special circumstances. For an unexpected meeting such as this, Yang Chen was speechless, as if he lost his tongue. His mind was now one big mess and he didn't know what to say. The crystal high-heeled shoe-wearing woman in front of him had a pair of black leggings which wrapped around her slender legs, emitting a certain type of low-key charm. She wore a beige-colored close-fitting business women's suit, which made her figure seem to follow the proportions of the golden ratio brilliantly. Under her slim waist was a beautiful and well-rounded butt that would cause excitement in the blood of all men. Her head of long black hair was neatly tied up, allowing her graceful swan-like snow-white neck even more dazzling. If it were just these, it would still be bearable. What makes her truly irresistible is that heaven-sent face, which was beautiful to the point it makes one powerless against it. You what? Lin Ruoxi looked at the rogue man, who had an expression like he's at a loss for words after eating a cockroach. That previous inkling of complex and nervous emotions vanished like smoke in thin air. Turning into a playful and teasing mood, she said, "Weren't you always good at talking, good at pretending? What's wrong, can't even speak half a sentence clearly now?" Yang Chen, his mouth open for a while, in a daze, he couldn't finish a complete sentence. At last, he dashed to the water cooler in the corner of the room. Taking a paper cup and filling it with water, he drained the cup in one gulp while calming his heart. After wiping his mouth, he turned around, and once again faced the sudden appearance of Lin Ruoxi. At that moment, Ruoxi had already adopted the imposing attitude of a captain of the ship that was Yulei International. Calmly sitting on a leather chair, her expression mild, yet cold, she was looking at Yang Chen. Sitting, she looked like a sculpture of a goddess, serene and bright. Wow, life's like a play, and a play is truly like life. Yang Chen silently looked at the woman standing in front of him for quite some time. He couldn't help but laugh. Good little Ruoxi, my wife, why didn't you tell me earlier that you were Yulei's CEO? It would have saved me a whole lot of trouble from finding work. Just give me a minor security job that is both clean and in an office. Mr. Yang Chen, pay attention to how you address me. In the office, I am your superior. A cold gaze flashed across Lin Ruoxi's beautiful eyes. This man in front of her was still upright a moment ago. Why did he suddenly revert back to his playboy tone again? Yang Chen made a hey laugh and said, in the office you're my superior, so does that mean out of the office I can call you whatever I want? Not allowed. Lin Ruoxi hurriedly vetoed. It was surprising how this person can think of such a disgusting and goosebump-inducing form of address. Lin Ruoxi creased her eyebrows and said, you can call me by my name, but you're not allowed to add on the other disgusting words. Yang Chen ignored her, as right now his emotions had been calmed. The shock from earlier had already been reduced to a negligible level. So he impolitely pulled over a chair to sit in front of Lin Ruoxi, crossed his legs, sighed and said, okay, let us not talk about that. What has CEO Lin called me over for? Only now did Lin Ruoxi remember the purpose of calling Yang Chen up. After rolling her eyes at Yang Chen, she turned the computer monitor 180 degrees, pointed at Yang Chen's resume on the screen and said, your resume says you have a master's degree in Harvard University's market management, you were a recipient of a full scholarship, and also proficient in both English and French. Yang Chen looked at his own resume. He could already predict what Ruoxi was going to ask, but could only nod his head. That is correct, so what? A master's degree from Harvard, proficient in English and French. Ruoxi looked at Yang Chen as if it was their first meeting as she sized him up. Don't you sell mutton skewers in the West District? How could you have such a prestigious educational background? Is he already prepared an excuse, as if reciting from a book? Yang Chen said, when I was a kid, I was kidnapped and sold to the United States. Then, I was fostered by some people with good intentions. There, I went to college, and also learned French. However, I didn't have any major goals in life, and after my foster parents passed away, I flew back here to sell mutton skewers and idly spend my days. You can ask the peddlers at the West District, they all know that I just came back just half a year ago. Since Ruoxi was able to lead a big company like Ulay International, naturally, she would not be an idiot. How could she trust Yang Chen's words that easily? Her intelligent face revealed a somewhat displeased expression as she made a cold HMPH and said, then what about the matter regarding the foreign languages test? You chose German and Italian and got full marks on both, how did that happen? Chapter 31. Yang Chen regretted randomly choosing the test papers. If he knew this would have happened, he would have chosen English and French as written in his resume. But right now he could only brace himself for whatever that comes his way. That is just a hobby. I'm pretty talented at foreign languages. Oh. What other innate skills do you have then? Ruoxi asked as she crossed her arms in front of her chest with a face full of disbelief. Yang Chen scratched his nose, because he was embarrassed to say that he actually had quite a number of innate skills. While he was most adept at fighting and killing, on the more high-tech side, he was also talented in controlling aircraft, tanks, firearms and hacking. However, these talents were not appropriate to share in a conversation, so he simply shook his head and said, nope, this brain of mine only has that much capacity. Well appraised, my lord wife. You're not allowed to call me that. Lin Ruoxi once again corrects the uncomfortable form of address that nearly turned her eyebrows vertical, and angrily said, Yang Chen, no matter the reason, since you chose Ulay International and became my employee, there are some things I must make clear to you. It can't be that you want to fire me, right? Yang Chen gloomily raised his hands. Hey, my dear Boss Lin, it took me a lot of effort to find a job that fits your requirements, sitting in an office, dignified, and can keep clean at work. You don't have to be so cruel to me, right? Although I'm born a bit more handsome than others, and may cause harm to our fellow colleagues, but a loyal man like me would never womanize. Also, wild flowers can never smell as fragrant as the flower at home, don't you think so? Hold your tongue. Ruoxi couldn't stand it anymore as she slammed her hand down at the desk. She pouted and her lips formed an arc. This guy did not have any EQ. Could it be that this is what all graduates of famous colleges in the US are like? Could it be that the Americans have a different way of looking at things? Yang Chen tried his best to hold back his laughter. He had no idea why every time he sees the bashful look of his convenient wife, he feels so happy inside. Like the creative concept written by a poet, it is most of all the gentleness of bowing one's head, that is like the lotus flower that the cool breeze cannot compete in shyness. TL, this was a poem written by Xu Zimo, a famous poet and cousin of Jinyang. Of course, Lin Ruoxi might look like a lotus flower, but she wasn't that gentle. Her mature, city woman's high self-esteem, along with that innocent childishness, was the most attractive thing about her. Only after a while did Lin Ruoxi calm down. With a gaze full of killing intent, she said, "Yang Chen, while we are in the company, we must agree upon a 3-point law. TL 3 rules Yang Chen must follow." "Alright, as long as you don't fire me, I'm fine with anything," said Yang Chen, as he didn't want to argue with this girl. "First, you're not allowed to call me by those disgusting names, you must address me as Boss Lin or CEO just like the other employees. Second, you can't just randomly waltz into my office, and in public, we must maintain a distance. Third, you can't tell anyone in this company that we are married. Fourth. Why? Bam. Lin Ruoxi slammed both her hands down on the desk, with her eyes widened. If I say how many laws, that's how many laws. If I say how many points, that's how many points. You're not allowed to interrupt me. Yes. Yang Chen forced a smile. Lin Ruoxi continued, "Fourth, while you are working here, I will carefully supervise you. You are not allowed to break the status quo of the office. As long as you do your job, I won't fire you. Even if you drift aimlessly, I won't fire you as long as you don't stir up trouble in the office." Fifth. After listening to Lin Ruoxi talk for no less than 10 minutes, Yang Chen stifled a yawn. Lin Ruoxi was almost finished speaking. "Boss Lin, you're finished, right? If you have, I'll leave first," said Yang Chen, as he curried favor with Lin Ruoxi because he was scared that she would burst out in more rules and stipulations. He's already forgotten how many points she has made. Lin Ruoxi contemplated for a bit and nodded her head. "We'll stop here for today. You must comply with everything I told you. Outside, I don't care what you do, that's your problem and we have a non-aggression pact, but when you're in the office, you must listen to me and abide by the rules." Yay. Yang Chen hurried to stand up, stretch, and leave the room. At that moment, in the office, a stylish azure-colored phone rang. Stretching out her hand, Lin Ruoxi picked the phone up, pressed a button, and answered the call. On the other side, the voice of the cold secretary, Wu Yu, could be heard. "Boss Lin, General Manager Xu Zihong has invited you to have dinner with him at the Blue Bay Hotel to talk about this year's partnership for the autumn fashion show." Hearing the name, Xu Zihong, Lin Ruoxi made an obvious frown. "Wu Yu, can't we cancel it?" On the other side of the line, Wu Yu hesitated for a moment and said, "Boss Lin, you have already rejected Mr. Zhu's private invitations 3 times. This time's business is regarding the autumn fashion show, and every single exhibition area's construction requires support from Donghua Science and Technology's resources and manpower. The other party's reasons are justified. If we cancel again, it's a little." "Fine, I understand." Lin Ruoxi pursed her lips. "Help me arrange this then. Tonight I will attend, book 2 seats. Boss Lin, do you require me to accompany you?" "Nope." Lin Ruoxi raised her head to stare at Yang Chen, who is trying to sneakily leave the room. "I will drive there, you may return home once you get off work." "Okay, Boss Lin." Wu Yu felt things were a little odd, but her unconditional compliance meant she wouldn't ask anything more. Ending the call, Yang Chen, who was trying to sneak out, stopped, turned his head and laughed. "Boss Lin, you can't possibly want me to attend. If I recall correctly, Blue Bay Hotel is a 5-star hotel. Does my rugged appearance look suitable for a 5-star hotel? Also, I can't make heads nor tails when it comes to business and cannot help." Lin Ruoxi coldly smiled and said, "You think I wish to bring you along? You only know how to lose face and talk drivel. However, marrying you is precisely to make use of you during such times. Later on in the evening, you must utilize all methods to keep Xu Zihong away from me, best if you can make him completely give up. Can I make a physical assault?" Yang Chen was somewhat impatient. "How about I just chop him and be done with it?" "Not allowed. You can't allow him to get near me, but our business talks must go on," said Lin Ruoxi, stressing each and every word. Taking in a deep breath, Yang Chen gazed strangely at Lin Ruoxi, grumbled and said, "Boss Lin, are you employing a husband or an Oscar-winning actor?" We have already signed the contract. When in the company of others, you must play your role properly. If you're a man, you must keep your word. Lin Ruoxi looked at Yang Chen's self-deflated manner and couldn't help but feel a small victory. Time flew like an arrow as Yang Chen returned to the PR department. The ladies, curious as to why Yang Chen was called to the CEO's office, all made exaggerated speculations till it was time to get off work. Throughout the whole afternoon, Mo Qianni was huffing and puffing in anger as she couldn't understand why Lin Ruoxi, who she respected for the longest time, rejected the proposition to fire Yang Chen and even invited him to her office. Could it be that Yang Chen has some sort of special background? All these questions remained in Mo Qianni's mind and would cause her to have insomnia. Furthermore, Yang Chen rejected the office lady's invitation for a welcome cocktail party and by himself, he quietly slipped away to the CEO's special parking lot. Sitting in Lin Ruoxi's Bentley Arnage, they made their way to the Blue Bay Hotel as planned. Nighttime in Shanghai City, a man and a woman, neither one knowing what the other was thinking. While the man and wife's first showing of love and affection was caused by a surprise phone call by Xu Zihong.